Thank you so much for logging on to blacktvonline.com. I am your host, Regena Reigns, for Testimony. And for these next couple of segments, we're doing something different. We are listening and talking with poets, and they're giving their testimony through poetic proverbs. Their stories are amazing, heart-wrenching, and just a testament to God's goodness and grace. And one of the poets that we will be hearing from is Sir Reigns. He grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. However, he overcame a life of crime and now is a poet and an actor in the Washington, D.C. area. Here's his testimony. I am with Sir Reigns. He is a phenomenal poet. He's originally from Baltimore, yet he lives in Washington, D.C., and his story is remarkable, heart-wrenching. So, Sir Reigns, tell me, how was it growing up in Baltimore?
Well, I mean, anybody from Baltimore knows Baltimore. Baltimore is definitely hard. I've seen my fair share of bullets, you know what I mean, and other things. And so I'm just happy to be alive, and I hopefully that passion of life and destiny and fate comes out in my poetry. I hope it does. That's what I try to do every day.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you were point blank range. A gun was pointed to your head, not once but several times, and you thought that you were going to lose your life.
Oh yeah, I've had a gun pointed to my head by a police officer. And it was just like, move and you're dead. And it's just like, everything flashes before you and you think, what's my point of being here? What is the point of life? What's my destiny? What's my fate? Is it all over? Did I fulfill it? That's happened to me once. And then, another time I robbed at gunpoint, and I just knew it was over because, it was like, the gun is like here, and it's just a matter of the gun actually working, and it didn't. And so, events like that happening and make you believe that you have a bigger point here than just being here. You're not a speck on a planet in the middle of nowhere.
So do you believe that God spared your life several times so you can have a testimony, so you can share with others? And how do you share with others?
Absolutely. I believe in fate. I believe in destiny. I believe in God having pure control over the universe, and I believe that the universe is in divine order, and I believe that it was not my time to go. And if that gives me a testimony, that's wonderful. I think hopefully just in my expression, in the way I walk, in the way I talk, in my name, and everything that I do, I am a testimony to Him without having to go out of my way to preach and do all the rest of this other stuff. Hopefully it exudes from my writing and myself and my being.
Okay. How does faith play a role in your writing?
Well, it's amazing because people always talk about my writing, they're like, it's not spiritual because they don't listen. If you listen closely to the words, you'll realize that in every poem there's a reference to God. These are issues that I believe God wants us to tackle if we plan to get past a cycle that is leading us into a rabbit hole of nothingness, you know what I mean? And so if that's divinity, I believe it is coming out of my words, coming out of my work. And I don't write this. You know what I mean? Something is inspired from somewhere else. That's what I say.
And who writes it? It's inspired from you.
I mean, he has so many names. It's a divine spirit. It's a movement, and it's not just me. There's a lot of people. There's a war, between good and evil. And if you listen, if you pay attention, you'll watch it. And it's a wonderful thing.
Okay. I'm looking forward to hearing your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope y'all looking forward too. My side.
Diamonds are born in the rough under rubble and the rumble of a volcano. Black is the cold that came from the depths of an African cave. Clutched by an underweight teenage girl covered in a suit of soot. She'd been in here all alone for about a month or so. Finally found her glitter stone and her eyes just glimmer with the hope that she could finally feed her family. So she barely whispers the words, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Within her grasp, an uncut fortune. Almost skipping as she forces her way out the fortress of an African diamond mine. But the rebel overseer stared, knowing she wouldn't dare come out here unless she found something rare. So them three just grabbed their sharpened blades and demanded that she open her hands. They know in other lands her diamond is worth so much more. But the girl denies. I ain't got nothing. Lies. Don't ask twice. Slice off. Hand hits ground soundless with the diamond still held inside. She couldn't let go even to their surprise. But the rebels just pried the prize out the 5 detached fingers. Angry that blood still lingers. Quickly wiped off and carried into a jeep. And with exchange of goods or guns, the transaction is complete. And one of the 3 laugh as they say diamonds are the girl's best friend. Black cargo crammed, sailed the Atlantic. Deja vu of being brought to America to be bought. The Middle Passage waters are still sick. Land in New York at dawn, at a place named Zales. Placed in a pile labeled sales. In a couple of weeks, placed in front of sharp instruments. And a man speaks with diligence. We are going to make you beautiful. Laser rips off blackness. New slave name is VVS13H Marquis cut. Who would have thought under all those layers one could shine so much? Light just dances inside and leaves twice as happy. And then some dude comes looking through the case, bragging on his seller about how he just beat another case, and to celebrate another miscellaneous murder, he wanted to buy some diamonds. Now, Jacob calls him cuz at the counter, and boy in the back behind his face, let me just get this straight. The miner lost one hand. And the rebels, well, the dealers gave the rebel like $2 grand. And cuz cops the bling off of Jacob for like 15 grand. And with a sly shake of hands, the transaction is complete. And in 2 weeks, cuz walks down the street, cursing out some shorty he just played when a masked man says, hey cuz, that bling is off the chain, so just take off your chain. The cuz doesn't move quick enough and is critically cut in the back. Flashback to the miner whose hand was severed. Africans are dying over overpriced jewels that we are buying. We are killing each other over these same rocks because they be shining. And I promise you today, that is the real reason they call these pretty prizes diamonds. Diamonds.
The sound of the engine dying was the intro to a long, long day. Silent inside her metal protection, she decided to have one last conversation. She touched her stomach, waiting for the correct words to flood from out of her soul, but her thoughts, her heart, had gone cold. She decided instead to get out and close the driver's side door, keyless lock, dressed in all green flip-flops as she walks down the otherwise barely inhabited block. Amy Lathan, 18, thinks back to the birth of her situation. That's 3 shots, 1 beer, 1 guy, 3 beers, and 1 shot of making himself clear that he wanted to get inside of her rear, and he succeeded. Sweaty lifestyles, broken Trojans, sperm rushing up tubes, searching for the one who would be his other half. She thinks if men are like sperm, and laughs. That would explain perhaps the subconscious path, the endless search for one soulmate. Her thoughts are interrupted by the chanting of the corrupted. A man speaks up to her. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, please don't go inside. If you're pregnant, it's all lies, all lies, all lies. But the door just slams behind. And soon enough, she's in line, ready to spend more than half of her time and her rent on this damned abortion. And Jim, the father, was at work praying that she would go through with it. Sedation, surgical procedures, sonogram, daughter the size of a quarter, blood tests, IV medicine, and her soul begins to rest in chair. Doctor wears all white, Satan smiling, a $50,000 watch. He hates to watch the procedures, but he loves the checks he's receiving. And Daisy, and confused girl, stands in chore with legs open, thinking that Doc is removing something, moving from inside, something moving me. We scream, but the sedation drowns her screams, and the baby's vocal cords aren't developed, but they scream and they scream, but the procedure proceeds until it's complete. Still sedated, Amy is just empty in the room with other blacks and Latinos, and repentance just flows with the tears. Repentance flows with the tears. Although pain is there, God is always there. And then blank her mind goes. Then God shows the financial inclination of the 7th commandment broke. 400 per soul. Times 30 ladies, that's 12 G's per day, 2 times per week, that's 24 G's a week per clinic, over 100,000 clinics to serve you best, that's 2.4 million per week, built with the blood of our children. Amy's head spins. Imagine how much the media perpetuates sex, how Margaret Sanger of Planned Parenthood said with no sweat that blacks should not reproduce. What are we to do? She cries, tears, not from the procedure, but from the procedure that we blacks are in. And the nurse just asks, is everything okay? Is everything okay, Amy? Are you crying because of the pain? She replies, no, I'm crying because of the pain. How many children are dying on a daily basis? How many children are dying on a daily basis? This is the sounds of the faceless, the sounds of the nameless. How many children are dying on a daily basis?
What an amazing story from Sir Reigns. If you would like to know more, learn more information about him, you can visit him at his website at sirreigns@tmail.com. If you like more about the show and want to learn more about me and testimony, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at regina@blacktvonline.com. Thank you so much for joining us.